My friend's fiancé is testing her, and I don't know if/how I should tell her. Hi all, this is an odd story, and I need to know if I should speak up or mind my own business. My friend, 27 female, is engaged to her partner, 27-ish male. They've been together for about 3 years in total and got engaged a few months ago. I'll be using fake names to be safe. So Rick has a job that keeps him out of town for a couple of weeks at a time, and he comes home about every other weekend. Amanda lives and works here in town. They recently got their first apartment together, not living with family. Shortly after moving in, Rick expressed wanting a dog. She kept telling him she wasn't quite ready. They just moved in and hadn't settled into their new home yet. He kept bringing it up, and she finally caved and said okay, but requested they get a smaller, more easygoing breed. Well, without going into too much detail, he comes home with a very young puppy that is a high-energy dog. Think almost any shepherd breed. Luckily, Rick does take the pup with him when he's gone for work. This weekend, however, while he was home, he had to leave the house for a few hours, and she was stuck at home with the puppy. My partner and I stopped in for a visit. I got to meet the pup for the first time, and he is a little sweetie. But like all pups in the velociraptor stage, he's a bit of a terror. Poor Amanda was exhausted and overwhelmed. While my partner was out of the room, she expressed to me that she loves Rick and she loved the pup, but she felt so drained and overstimulated. She said she was annoyed that her wishes on the type of dog was overlooked, and it bothered her. I offered that auntie and uncle, my partner and I, would happily puppy sit from time to time, or even just take the pup on walks if that would help. About an hour later, Rick, her fiancé, comes home, and we are all sitting in the living room visiting. Amanda gets up to take the puppy outside to go potty, and after she leaves, Rick opens up to my partner and I. I can't remember word for word what was said, but he asked if he could talk to us, and I said, of course. He goes on to tell us that he picked out the puppy he did as a way to test Amanda, to see what kind of mother she would be. He said it was a, quote, old-timer's way of testing a woman. I expressed that I didn't think this was a fair comparison. I have 3 dogs and 0 kids. I love my dogs like my children, but if I were to have a child, my love for my child would be vastly different than my love for my fur babies. It's a different kind of love. I also asked him, quote, well, are you trying to have children right now? You guys still have plenty of time to settle and get where you need to be before having kids. He replied saying he wanted a family. I understand wanting things, ... but I also feel like you should want to do it right, especially if it involves children. My partner and I don't want kids personally, but if we did, we wouldn't want them right now, as we definitely aren't ready. And we want them to have the best life. Rick seems to think he is ready for this right now. But from an outside eye looking in, he didn't listen to his fiance's boundaries when picking out a dog. He's testing her abilities to be a mother behind her back. And that's the other thing. While talking to my partner and I about it, he almost seemed to be belittling her ability to handle a crazy puppy. Like, that is your partner. This is the woman you claim to love and want to marry, but you are thinking about all this when she has expressed to you that she wants to do these things but isn't ready yet? Sorry, I'm just rambling. Anyways, after we left to go home, my partner was the first to speak up to me. He said he didn't like how Rick talked about Amanda and how he was testing her to see how she would handle a kid. He and I both want to say something to Amanda, but we don't know if we should. And if the answer is yes, we should, we don't know how. Also, sorry, other side note, Rick wants kids and to have a family, but he's gone for like 2 weeks at a time. Like, how is that fair to Amanda? I told my partner if that happens, then auntie, me, is stepping up to the plate, lol. I'll get over my fear of babies real quick. Anyways, sorry, had to make a small joke to make myself feel better. Any advice is appreciated. We aren't sure how to proceed. I will also fully admit Amanda is my girl. She's a really good friend of mine and my partner, so there is a chance we might be a little ... protective. And if that's the case, I'm fully open to being told that. Thank you for reading and thank you in advance. You're gonna tell them this behind your fiance's back? Like,
yeah.
Don't you kind of know they're gonna tell her?
Exactly. That's why I think they should tell her.
You need to tell her.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah.
Well, we have an update. So overwhelmingly, the answer is to tell Amanda, and that's what I thought the answer was, but I just need to be sure. I'm going to be seeing her later this week, and I will talk to her then. I keep seeing a lot of, you're not a very good friend. If you have any doubt, you should tell her, and I want to clarify a couple of things about that. One, I was in an extremely abusive relationship, and when other loved ones told me I should leave and he wasn't good for me, I clung to him more and distanced myself from those trying to help me. I'm scared of doing that to Amanda. 2, I had another friend whose husband was total trash. I fought tooth and nail to try to help her out of the situation, even offered for her and her daughter to come live with me. Eventually, her husband made her block me. They are now divorced, but I'm still blocked and can't check in on my friend. I think about her often and wish her well, so I'm also scared of losing Amanda. 3, sometimes because of my past, I can see a situation and think it's abuse when it's really not. I can overreact. I really just needed to make sure that wasn't the case here. Update 2. Amanda and I talked. I took a lot of advice from the comments. I started by saying up front that if I'm overstepping or I'm wrong in any way, please just tell me and I will drop it. I then proceeded to tell her, the other day, Rick said something to partner and I. And if you're open to hearing it, I want to give you the option to hear it. Personally, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would want to know. Paraphrasing, it's hard to remember a conversation word for word, but I then told her what he said. I kept it very matter of fact. She asked to know more, so I told her as much as I could remember to be fact. After crying with each other as I was scared of losing a friend, we both told each other that we are stuck with each other for life, LOL. She said she understood that I was only coming from a place of love and I'd never do anything to hurt her. She also thanked me for being honest. I did tell her about the Reddit post and I shared the link to her. She read it and some of your comments. I would like to correct an earlier statement I did make. He would find a different job when/if they have kids. That is something they did agree on, and I was incorrect in that. I apologized for being wrong and told her that based on previous conversations, I was under a different impression. She understood, and I'm taking accountability in admitting I was wrong on that detail. She knows no matter what happens, good, bad, ugly, my partner and I are here in her corner and always will be. I can't say for certain what life has in store for her, but I can say that our friendship is just as strong. Thank you again to everyone who was kind and helped me navigate the situation as best as possible. There is a comment from someone that OP responded to. I'd like to know if they are still together. Currently, yes, they are.
Am I overreacting? My husband ate all of my food. So I just had surgery on my stomach and intestines almost 2 weeks ago. Because of the surgery, I have to adhere to a very strict diet until I'm fully healed. If I stray from the diet, it will cause severe complications and possibly lead to death. So for the first 2 weeks after surgery, I can only eat or drink a full liquid diet. The most solid thing I can eat is pudding. I can't even have the soup with any chunks of veggies or meat in it, even if they're soft. There's a lot of variety to choose from and I'm not having a good time at all. Plus, I'm still having pain from the procedure and some nausea, and I've had to go in for IV fluids and iron twice now. Prior to surgery, I meal prepped for myself and for the family so I wouldn't have to worry about it after. I made meals for myself for every stage of the diet with the specific macros and ingredients to meet my needs and to comply with my other health problems. For example, I have celiac disease, so everything has to be gluten-free. I also follow a low sugar and low carb diet, so everything had to comply with that as well. I also made meals for my husband and our son. Meals specifically requested by him. I stocked up on snacks they liked and asked for. We also have a fairly strict budget right now, so I made everything from scratch to save money. About 1/4 of everything I made is in the freezer attached to our fridge for convenience sake. The rest is in the deep freezer in the garage. So most of the meals in the house freezer are gone, so I went out to the garage to restock. All of the meals I made for myself are gone, just completely emptied out. I'm really upset because I have no energy right now to make more. Living off of liquids and having anemia will do that to a person. My diet is hopefully progressing to soft solids tomorrow, so I was really excited to be able to eat some of the food I'd made. I asked my husband about it and he blamed it on our son first, which I know is BS because the kid hates all of my special food with a passion. There's no way he'd be sneaking my food, so I questioned my husband again. He admitted to it, said he'd been taking my meals to work as his lunch because he was too tired to make his own lunch before work. He had always made his own lunch up until now. He also said he was bored with the lunches he makes and my food provided variety. I am exhausted. This recovery period is kicking my ass. Before surgery, I ran a mile every day. Now I barely have enough energy to walk up the stairs. I'm not even supposed to lift more than 10 pounds. I'm not supposed to do anything more strenuous than walking. Even taking a shower is tiring right now. The anemia, dehydration, and lack of proper nutrition is making it worse. So when he admitted to taking my food, I just started crying. He hasn't been much help after surgery, and my 11-year-old son has been doing all of the lifting for me and helping me with chores and cooking. When I started crying, he got disgusted and told me I was overreacting and being a baby. He refuses to make me new meals. He refuses to help me make new meals, and he says it's been almost 2 weeks and I should be able to do stuff on my own. At this point, I'm seriously considering divorce. I mean, my son and I are already doing everything on our own already, and I know my kid won't eat my diet food. Am I overreacting? Also, I just found out he raided my non-perishable food storage in the pantry. It was mostly sugar-free jello and pudding, stuff I can eat on the liquid diet. Pretty much everything is gone, except for some sugar-free orange jello. Wow, you did not overreact at all. In fact, I would have reacted a lot stronger than you did. How awful. Does he even love you? Does he like you? How awful and inconsiderate do you have to be to do that to someone? Like knowing that you need the food for your health and you prepped all this beforehand and he isn't even taking care of you during the time that you're recovering. He eats it for lunch. He doesn't care about anyone but himself.